25 or so years ago, I had done a lot of pitching in Hollywood to major studios, had worked on a very small documentary to make a pitch into Disney and some of those entities out there. And it came to my knowledge that Doug was working on this project with Fritz. And when Doug made mention of this project, I thought, well, how odd that I would be working with him in the limousine business, and seemingly randomly, maybe not, we come together and start working on something in the entertainment and film business. Fast forward, we're working on the project, the books in particular, and also the documentary, and it became very apparent that this is a work of love for Doug and for Fritz, and that there was really something special about this entire story and stories that of Fritz's life, and how he lived that life, and how he interacted. With Fritz's recent passing, it's still very raw for us all, and sadly, I've only spent about 2 years with Fritz, working on these projects. So you get to know somebody, it starts to become a deeper and deeper relationship, and then, like any of us, you can be gone in an instant. So it was really good to get to know him, sitting with him for hours and hours, as you do when you drive from Allentown, Pennsylvania, to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan for the historic snowmobile parade up there, across the 5 Mile Bridge. You find out that Fritz was a humble person. Yes, he did things that were huge splashes in the news and remarkable in many respects, but he was a person who, as my son was reminding me this morning, he would sign books for people, but he told my son, he said, look at their face. I'm signing a book, I'll sign many books, but he said, watch their interactions. They become inspired, they tell their story. And I think that's a big part of Fritz, was he wanted to feel a relationship and a back and forth with people. And he really enjoyed being some sort of inspiration, but he was also gaining a lot, seeing their faces, and he said hearing their stories. So he had a tough growing up with his mom. I think he was always trying to prove to himself, his memory of his mother, that he was somebody and capable of something, and maybe even something great. And I think he showed us that. My son enjoyed spending some hours with him in the back of the car, and they would talk about the book that my son was actually reading. And he said, if I had a question about the book for the first time ever, I could just turn to the left and ask the author. Fritz and my son were talking at one point, and the question was, would you ever repeat an adventure or do something similar? And Fritz just looked at him quizzically, like, why would you ever do that? He said, it's like I've played golf at one course. You move on, you play a different course. And for him, he couldn't understand why anybody would ever play that golf course again. He's met that challenge. So yeah, he was a different mindset, different kind of thinker. Fritz is going to be remembered as being a true individual, somebody who was concerned and helpful to other people, and wanted to inspire us all to maybe do something a little out of the ordinary, a little crazy, even if it wasn't any big thing. He said, you could make an adventure in life, and it would really add to your life. I think that's part and parcel of his legacy for the remainder of the experience that we'll have here, is do something that's out of the ordinary.